Here's a really simple strength and movement assessment that you can do from pretty much anywhere with little to no equipment. The reason I love it is because it gives us a really good idea of what somebody's athletic base looks like, their strength and movement absolute basics, before we kind of like progress higher up into higher levels of function and then skill in sport. What you're going to need for this for equipment, you just need a pretty basic kitchen timer. Optional, you can also have push-up handles, like a pull-up bar or somewhere to hang from. You can also hang from a tree, and then somewhere just to lay down, whether it's a towel, something to put your head on. But you can pretty much get away with using no other equipment for this. I'm going to take you through 5 different movements. These are just the basics that we'd like to see out of everybody. So one's going to measure balance, one's going to measure splitting the legs, one's going to measure the ability to push and pull, one's going to measure grip and the ability to hang, and then one's going to measure a neurological pattern called a cross crawl pattern. So I'll go through what each of them look like pretty simply. I'll show them all from the front and from the side. So first one is a standing straight leg raise. So first one, I'm going to have my right leg down, and then I'm going to lift the left leg up. When I get into position, I'll start a timer, and then I'm going to run it. From here, what I'm trying to do is keep the waist, the low back, the pelvis level, and then be able to stand on one leg and keep balance here. Just easier to pick a spot and start to focus on that. Breathing in and out the nose. From the side, what it'll look like is we're going to be here. Left leg is going to be straight up, locked at the knee. Same with this, not like hyperextended locked, but just kind of soft knee. And then we're going to pull the toe up on the foot that's on the ground. Also, if I'm standing here, I should be able to see the foot that's on the ground. So I'm not going to be swayed back like this. Whenever you drop the foot, pause the timer. I'll go over the standards for what the time is for all these at the end. Next one is going to be, well, you'd go left leg with that. Then you take a breather. Then we go into the lunge. So lunge, we're going to take an exaggeratedly long stride forward and then start the timer. So what this should look like is the same position we'd be in to run. Hands will just be on the side here. Knee is going to be over the ankle and the foot here. Heel is going to be up, which you can't really see from this angle. And then back leg here, we're trying to get as low and as straight as possible here. I'll show it from the side. What we'll do, I'll show you with this foot back here. We're going to lunge out, take a big stride. Heel is going to be up off the ground. Knee is going to be over the ankle here or slightly in front, but we're going to avoid being back here like this. We're going to be straight up with the trunk, so we should feel this glute firing in the back to extend up rather than us coming forward here. Hands aren't on the thigh or the waist. We're just right here. You can also put the hands here if you'd like, or up above the head. Back leg as well. We want to see on that back foot that we're up on the big toe, that we're not protected here. With any of these movements, if this is as far as you can get to, fine. But what we should want to see is over the course of time that we're in these moves, we start to sink lower and lower. And by doing that, right away, what we want to try to feel is each of these feet pulling together. So back foot and front foot pulling together like this, and that's going to drop us down. If we feel the front hamstring too, we should feel that this is on and that this is firing. I have videos that explain each of these in detail, so I'll put a link in there for all those. When we come out of that, pause the timer. Next one that we'll do is bottom position of a push-up. If we don't have push-up handles or anywhere to elevate the hands, what we can do is just have the hands straight on the ground here, and then hold that position. What we want to assess with this is going to be dropping down between the handles here. So for width, I like to just go elbow to fingertip, and that's how wide I like to put everything. And then what we'll do is, you can check this from the side if you want to for a video. Yeah. We'll go hands over the shoulders, and then we're going to pull ourselves down into a bottom position from here. So what we should see is elbow is going to be over the wrist here, or even a little bit forward of it here. So we don't want to be like back and protected to this position. So our bottom position here, what we should also see is shoulder to hip to knee to ankle should be a straight line. So we shouldn't see like waist sagging. We shouldn't see hips tented up like that. Also, what we should see from the front, if you want to swing the camera around to here, is we shouldn't see the elbows collapsing in on each other. We should see the elbows staying up over the wrists here. So we go down to bottom position, elbows should be over the wrists like this. So avoiding hands sagging in like that. So here, and we want to get, same thing with lunge, we want to pull ourselves down to as far bottom of position as we can get to here. And then, well, I didn't start the timer there, but you'd start the timer at the beginning. When you come out, you pause it. Next one after that, so push-up position bottom, we're going to go to Scap hang ISO. So what we need is a bar to hang on. If you have a door frame pull-up bar, You can get one of those that also has the arms going this way, but either grip works, either hands parallel or palms facing away from you. But start the timer and bam, jump up. Not too much to coach on this one. Just hold on and breathe. With that said, you come down, pause it. If for some reason your arms can't get up overhead to that position, you can keep some of the weight on the feet. But what we're looking for with all these is just progress. So this is like a measuring stick. We just want to see where we're at and then be able to continually progress forward. Once we start to get into the standards, if there's 4 of them out of the 5 that you can just crush and there's one that you can't, the one that you can't get is like the weakest link, and that's what we're trying to improve more than anything. So last one that we'll go through is cross crawl Supermans. So the other 4 were isometric holds, long duration isometric holds. This last one is going to be actual movement and reps. So hopefully the microphone doesn't fall too far here and you can still hear me. But what we're going to do is we're going to go arms straight, palms up, and then we're going to have ball of the foot on the ground or toes on the ground here. And this is going to be a cross crawl pattern. So we're going to go opposite arm and opposite leg. So right arm and left leg lift together, and then left arm and right leg lift together. So we're going here. What we'll do is we'll set a timer, and then what we're going to do is count reps. So what we're looking for is, let's say the standard is 5 minutes. We're looking for 250 each side. This is what everybody gets wrong, so this is what I'm just going to go over right now. We're going to count how many times you go each side. So as an example, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just so you know. It should be similar to walking pace. That's what we're going for on this. A couple cues with this, trying to keep the elbow and the knees straight when we lift. So we're not trying to lift here. We're trying to lift there. We're also not lifting up to a point where we're like hyperextending the lumbar spine and going up like there to where this hip comes off the ground. We're just lifting to engagement there. Other than that, that's everything for the 5 movements. All of these are scalable to different standards, I guess, that we would kind of look for. Somebody who wants to be a collegiate or professional athlete is going to have a higher standard than a high school athlete or a middle school athlete. They're also going to have a different standard than anybody just from, regular everyday life, general population, whatever you'd like to call it. Also, people that play different sports at different levels are going to have different layers of standards on top of this foundation here. In my assessment and just from my experience, trying to go higher before you're ready doesn't really work. What we're looking for is to really make sure that just keep it as basic as possible with 5 different things that we can do that really cover every single combination of movement that we could then, in a more complex way, kind of stack on top of this. So what we're looking for is that you can do these 5 well before we then start to do things with, like getting overhead into different positions that would require you throwing a ball or you swinging a golf club. But let's just make sure that the basics that every single human being has to do is covered first, and then we can add other standards on top of it. And then once those are good, then you can go play the sport safely at a high level for a long time with less risk of injury. You can't prevent injury. Things happen, but it's setting yourself up to just be in a better position overall. I'm going to put in the description, and I'll also have a page that goes over what each of these standards look like based off of age, what your goals are, and then additional standards based on sport and development overall. So that's everything. Do it right now. Do it.